Should have shot him at 34.
Let's go. With the audio, can we creep up a little bit closer?
Alright, get ready.
Get ready. What's he at? 37. Yeah, man, come on, dude. Son,
Broadside right here. He was at 30. He was at 41 from here. Probably 32 from where he is.
I should have stayed in here.
I should have just waited for those cats to run away. No, because he was broadside right there in front of that tree. If you would have stayed
When they first came out, he picked it up, but he stopped. That's okay.
He's sitting right there.
Yeah, I see.
There's a moose-lawn behind him in front of him. Yeah. It's going to be way in the back though. It's going to be about 60. You're about 40. That's a dude. It's behind that roof line back there. In the brush.
Is he on the right?
No, he's on the left. What's that one in the Sendero right now? What do you think he is?
28.
What do you think the one is? What is she?
Range.
41.
You gotta do it.
30, 34 right now. 34.
Do it now.
34.
Same distance.
Hold on. 34.
Stuck his ass.
Yeah.
Who stuck his ass?
Where did it go? Did you see the shot?
I got it, yeah.
Was it hot? Was it perfect?
I thought it was perfect. It was pretty good, bro. I thought it was perfect.
Yes. Was it perfect?
It was good, man.
No way. It was. I couldn't see it.
It was good.
Oh my god. No freaking way. Oh my god. Are you serious? I didn't see it. Oh my gosh.
What's your heart rate like right now?
A million miles to nothing.
I'm even shaking.
Me too. I'm all
Same
over
here.
it, dude. Oh. Are y'all sure?
Yeah, that was a good shot.
Are you sure?
Good shot. But you got it in there.
Alright.
Dang it.
freaking serious,
Right.
man. Here, let me film this.
You suck it in there.
Are you serious, man?
That's on the bitch right there, spicy shit.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's
Been
been
a
like a
long weekend.
5-year chase for an axis like that. Oh my gosh. I don't know, man. I don't know. He ducked into it. I saw it duck.
Yeah.
But I was holding low.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man. That was a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We would corn this in there, he'd come out, we'd scoot up on him, it'd be like 30, 35, 40, and he wouldn't stay still. And finally, Dylan ranged him like 34 yards. I just slipped out of the buggy, drew back, and let him have it. And it looks good. I feel like it might have been just a touch bit high, but everybody's saying that it looks good. Dang it, I sure hope so. Holy crap, man, I don't know what to think. That's freaking awesome. I've been wanting to shoot an axis for like 3 or 4 years now. I can't believe that. He was black tipped. I mean, he's a freaking beautiful axis. Give him plenty of time. Lots of time. Oh my goodness, I don't even know. That's freaking crazy, man. There's still Audad and Mouflon down in the Sendero. We've been hunting hard. We've been hunting hard like 3 or 4 days straight now, and I've had several chances, and they're just spooky. Either the wind wasn't right, or they don't get along with other animals very great, and so the other animals will run them off, and everything just lined up right there. We were going to get in the blind for this afternoon and set up, and there they were. As soon as we pulled through the gate, they were hanging out, and we saw him. I was like, man, that one's a freaking stud right there, 30 inches or so. 32. He may be bigger, he may surprise us, but black tips, beautiful coloration, just an awesome buck. I can't wait to go look for him. But it was like cat and mouse. I mean, we'd corn the Sendero and keep him comfortable, and then we'd back out, and he'd pop out, and he'd have some does with him, and the does wouldn't stay calm, and they'd bust out of here, and then he'd go with them, back and forth, like 4 or 5 times. And finally, they just stayed calm for long enough that I could sneak up. What'd you say the yard was? Like
He was at 34.
34 yards, man. Oh, golly. I think I put it right where it needed to go. Might have been a touch high. He ducked into it, but I think I double lunged him, and he's not going to go far. Give me some. Bring it in. Bring it in. So we started right here on the road, on the blood trail, and we went in probably 25, 30 yards, and we find the arrow, and then we look up like another 20 yards up the trail, and he's laying right there. He's not dead yet, and we haven't given him any time. We just wanted to go just a little bit, see if we could find the arrow and see if we could find a blood trail at all. And he's not quite dead yet. We got to give him some more time. We saw him. He's kind of picking his head up a little bit, and his tail's flicking around. He's fixing to die. I mean, he'll be probably dead in the next 3 or 4 minutes. So we backed out, and we're just hanging out here for a minute. We can see him from where we're at. He didn't run any further than about 45, 50 yards. And actually, I stopped seeing his flail, or his tail flicking, so I think he just died. From the time the shot just happened, we're looking at less than 5 minutes. So, very quick, very humane, 2-inch mechanical. I bent the blades. The shot was a little bit higher than I would have liked for it to have been, but I clipped both lungs, and I can see him right now. I mean, I'm looking at him in the brush. Absolute hunt of a lifetime. That is a stud of an axis deer. I can't wait to get up there and get my hands on him. I know he's expired by now, but I'm thrilled to death. Like, I couldn't be any more excited. I've been on the run for an axis deer for so long now. Like, I've been chasing axis deer for years, and I hunted them last year, and there was a huge herd of axis deer, and it was on a different property, and we didn't even get a shot. This place is absolutely covered up in axis. I've had multiple opportunities, and I just stuck the biggest buck of my life. Like, that was incredible. say. Like, I don't even have words. I see him right now. He's flicking his tail a little bit, actually, so he's not quite dead yet, but we're going to give him probably 25, 30 more minutes, maybe a little bit longer, and he should be expired, and we'll be able to go up in there and get him and do the recovery. Give him some more, one more time, man. Oh, man, I'm so excited. I'm so freaking happy. 34 yards. Oh, well, at the end.
Welcome back. It has been an awesome weekend at the Real Mccoy Ranch here in McCoy, Texas. This is Bradley's Axis buck from 4B Bowhunting and Outdoors. The new buddy of ours. We became really close, became really good friends. And it was a really long and eventful day trying to get this old joker in the back of this buggy. So, I mean, we had a really, really tough weekend just getting into bow range of these Axis. You know, they're really, really skittish, real spooky, and you know, the slightest movements they pick up, they bolt. So we had a lot of good bucks in front of us this weekend, just about every hunt, and just about every time, you know, they were spooked by something, whether it was the wind or another animal there that was pushing them away from the corn. Sure enough, this morning, about no, it was like, what time was it this afternoon? About 2 o'clock?
It was about
2:45?
We're actually going to set out a new stand. We changed stands probably this week. I bet you 5 times.
Yeah.
We're trying to pattern them, and it's just, it was tough. And we were going out about 2:30 this afternoon trying to set a new stand out. And just happened, the buck that Bradley was after was chasing some does right there by the gate. And we got out, and it was kind of like a cat and mouse game. We were sitting there, you know, we'd corn the road, and they'd come out, and we'd try to get 30 yards, because that's what he wanted to get at, and to shoot this animal. And we'd inch closer, and he'd run back into the brush, and we'd have to corner again, and he'd come back out real slowly, and other animals started to come out, so I guess he felt a little bit more comfortable coming out, but that was the biggest mistake of his life.
Yeah. Like Dylan said, it took him a while before he would get comfortable out on the road. You know, we would get within 50 yards, and we'd get within 40, and just whenever we would get into bow range and Bradley would be ready to draw, he'd spook and run into the woods. I mean, this happened 5, 6, 7 times, I bet. So, you know, whenever he finally made the shot, and you know, we looked at the footage and everything and saw that it was a good shot, the reward, I'm sure, for him was just huge, and as well for us, you know, as much work as we've been putting into this hunt this weekend. And I'm going to say the only reason that we were not videoing ourselves beside this Axis hours ago was because whenever he made the shot, his mechanical broadhead didn't deploy, and that was the only reason that we even had trouble tracking down this Axis, because after we looked at the footage, his shot was pretty stinking good.
And that's the risk you take shooting mechanical broadheads.
I mean, it doesn't happen often, but it can happen. Your broadhead may not deploy, and then you just punch it in there, and it doesn't work like it's supposed to. And you don't get the full effect, and then you don't get good penetration, and then you're having trouble finding the blood trail, having trouble tracking the blood trail, and you know, that's the risk you take. But it's our personal opinion that mechanical broadheads do work better than fixed blades, and because you know that this has never happened to me before, and I think this is the first time this has ever happened to Bradley. And it's just kind of ironic that as hard as this hunt was this weekend, that was the first time that he had a broadhead not deploy on him. So,
and the only reason Bradley's not out here right now is because he's got a massive headache, migraine. I mean, like I said, we set a stand last night about 3 o'clock in the morning, and we got up at 6 o'clock this morning. You know, we had 2.5 hours, 2 hours max of sleep last night, and I felt like that finally catching up to him. And he wanted us to come out here and film this little segment for y'all, and have this animal sitting right here before we caped it out. And so I mean,
he's not feeling too hot right now. I went in there and talked to him a few minutes ago, asked him if he wanted to get out of bed to come talk, and he started to, and then once he sat up, he just said, you know what, take my camera and y'all do it for me. So he wants to be out here, but he's just feeling really crappy right now, so we had to take his place. And This has been a moment he's been wanting to live for years and years and years. You know, we've just been talking to him, and this has been a dream of his to chase down and kill an axis with a bow. So, you know, I feel bad for him because he's not getting to live the full effect, you know, because of how bad he feels. But I know that whenever we finally recovered this animal, it was probably a feeling that he'd never experienced before.
So y'all, that about wraps it up. If y'all want to come do this kind of hunting, this is my uncle. We're going to leave all of his information down in the description box below. He has any animal you could dream of. I mean, axis to fallow to whitetail to hogs to blackbuck to oryx to you name it, he can get it for y'all. So I mean, if you want to come out here and do this kind of hunting, I mean, it's a hunt in a lot. I mean, once in a lifetime hunt out here. I mean, Bradley came out here and smacked this huge gold class axis, and I mean, great accommodations. Anything you'd want in a hunt, he has it. So.
I'm going to tell y'all, if you get online and start looking at prices, he's got some of the best prices in South Texas. So y'all just keep that in mind when you're looking for a hunt. You're going to get top of the line everything here. You know, from food to, like Dylan said, any accommodations, and especially when it comes down to it, hunting. I mean, there's some good animals out here. So whenever y'all are looking for a place to hunt, just keep the Real McCoy Ranch in mind.